my live stream lectures. And I'm doing my walking a little later this evening because this sun has been really hot when I do it earlier in the day. So I either now do it in the evening or early in the morning. So before I get started with this lecture, I just want to take a moment to thank all of my supporters and everyone for supporting my channel. My YouTube channel truly would not be where it's at today without all of my supporters. So with that being said, let's get on down to today's lecture, which is, if you are 45 years old or younger, if you are 45 years old or younger, pay attention. And what I mean by that is, you know, at that age or younger, I don't 20s, 30s, 40s, 45 or younger, you really need to start getting laser focused and get a solid job so you can begin to really build your financial health, people. This is real talk. And I remember years ago, I think I was in my late 20s, and I met this person who was 35 years old and fully retired. You know, when you begin to invest into your financial future, invest into your 401, invest into your financial portfolio, understand, people, you can retire at any age. And then when I met that person who was fully retired at the age of 35 and with pension and retirement, and then when that person becomes old enough, I believe age 62, that person now will also qualify for Social Security. But imagine being fully retired at the age of 31, and that always stuck in my mind. So, and it's never too late to start to get laser focused. I started getting laser focused on building my financial portfolio in my early to mid 40s. And I retired years early. September of 2023, I fully retired because I was focused. 10 years before I knew I was going to retire, I eliminated all of my debt. I started working very closely with a financial advisor. And because you don't believe the myth, you got to wait till you're 62 or 65. Yeah, you get your Social Security when you get that age. But if you are being strategic and working well, and you got a job, and that job is matching your 401, you can go to HR and tell them to increase your 401 on your part. So you're getting that match 401 from your job you're working on full time. You're building that financial portfolio. You begin to start educating yourself on money, being strategic with money, working with financial advice. I was doing everything. I was laser focused. I retired from the state of North Carolina. I'm also get a pension from the military. So I've been building my retirement since my early 20s. In real talk, people. But when I hit my early to mid 40s, I began to get extremely focused. I began to eliminate all of my debt. I have no debt because I was so determined to be able to exit up out of this workforce years early and to sustain my financial health. I know many people who are retired, but they're so deep in debt because they entered retirement in debt that they literally have to go back to work and work a full-time job and a part-time job just to stay afloat because they entered retirement in debt. I tell people at any age, I don't care if you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, you need to eliminate your debt so that'll give you more disposable income to increase money into your financial portfolio, to invest, to increase money into your emergency savings account. That's power, people. The last 4 or 5 years of me working before I exited up out of the workforce, no lie, because I was debt-free years before I retired. So I'm going to work and getting a full salary. And when I got paid with my full staff salary from state government, I didn't even need the money because I had no bills. I mean, I paid of course, I had my cell phone bill, water bill, and food. But I paid for those little bills out of my money that I was generating under my company, because I've always had my company simultaneously when I was in the workforce. So I say that to say, even a few years before I retired, those last 3 or 4 years of my working adult life, I literally, when I got paid for my state government job, I literally did not even need the paycheck. So what I did was reinvest my entire paycheck back into my 401. I began to increase more into 401s, real talk people, because I was determined. And in order to do all these things, you're going to have to buckle down, and you're going to have to get a job, and you're going to have to stay on that job to get vested into a 401. All this job hopping and going from job to job. No, if you're 45 or younger, you need to buckle your behind down and get grounded, because jobs are plentiful, people. I mean, county jobs, government jobs, post office, hospitals, they're all hiring. I talk to a lot of people in HR, and employers are so much hurting because don't nobody want to work. It just blows. I mean, back in the time when I came up, getting a post office jobs would be up there town the chain. Those jobs were unattainable. Hospital jobs were unattainable. Government, county jobs, military hiring, everybody hiring. I'm talking about jobs, career jobs where you got not just a salary, but a package deal. Full benefits, 401, medical, dental, your salary, PTO, people. This is real talk. And I know so many people in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, because they don't want to buckle down and work for nobody. So if you ain't working for nobody, now you ain't got no health insurance, no life insurance, no medical insurance, no dental insurance. So I know so many people in their 20s and 30s and 40s deep in debt for medical bills because they behind, don't want to buckle down and get a full-time job, because with a full-time job, it's going to come with benefits, medical, dental. So when you go to the doctor, the emergency room, you just flip out that medical card. This is real talk. And even with my retirement income from the state of North Carolina, that comes with medical benefits for the rest of my life. I would never see a medical bill. With my retirement pension from the military, all my medical bills be covered for life, people. I ain't seen a medical bill in 40 years. That's because I have positioned myself at an early age, in my early 20s, thinking proactively in terms of when I get ready to exit up out of this workforce, I want pension, retirement with a medical package, vision, dental, life insurance, medical. I ain't seen a bill in 40-something years, people. I know so many people right now in their 20s, their 30s, because they don't want to buckle down on no job. They ain't got no medical insurance. A dental emergency come up. I don't care if you're in your 20s or your 30s. Ain't no dentist gonna do dental surgery on you free, because you don't want to buckle down and get a job and then you get sick and have to go to the ER. Yeah, they'll treat you if you ain't got no insurance, because they have to from an ethical standpoint. But trust me, you're behind. You're gonna get a big fat bill in the mail for those emergency surgeries or emergency services, $40,000, $50,000. Real talk, people. This is real talk. At any age, anyone can have a medical emergency. And I'm telling you, when you go to the doctor or the hospital, inpatient, outpatient, got to get a prescription filled, the first thing they're going to ask you, do you have insurance? Do you have insurance? And the answer is going to either be yes or no. That's the first thing they're going to ask you. And even if you got insurance now, that insurance company, even though if the bill is paid for 100%, because I've got many of them where they'll send you a statement so you can see the breakdown of the bill and you can see all the money the insurance company paid. And when I get my statement like that, my part will always say 0, 0, 0. I've been in the hospital many times throughout my adult life for major surgery, and my part of the bill will be 0. That's power, people. That's power. But in order to do this, you're gonna have to buckle down, especially if you're 45 or younger. You're gonna have to buckle down on a full-time job somewhere. I don't care if it's the military, county, state, federal, post office, hospitals, companies, corporations, full time so you can get that package deal that come along with it. So then if you get sick and need to go to the doctor or the dentist or the ER room, all you do is whip out that medical card. And now when you file your income taxes at the end of the year, you got to show evidence that you had medical insurance for the whole year. And if you ain't got evidence that you got health insurance on yourself, then that'll be a negative impact on you when you get ready to file your taxes. This is real talk, people. And there are so many people of all ages, because they're bouncing around. They don't want to buckle down. They don't want to work for nobody. They don't, especially full time. They don't want to do none of that. So what that does is you ain't even building enough time in to have enough to even get Social Security, let alone a pension from a job. Help me understand. Help me understand this. Because I'm telling you, I know many people who retired and had to go back to work because they didn't have any medical benefits with their pension. Just because you retire and get a pension, you got, depending on what company you retired from, that's going to also dictate your package deal with that retirement. Well, my retirement from both state and military, all of that is attached with medical. I would never see a medical bill. I know many people retired at a young age and they had to go back to work because they could not afford the medical piece because their retirement package did not include medical. It did not include dental. It did not include vision. Real talk, people. And this is something I've been wanting to talk about for a while because, all throughout my working adult life, I still had my company simultaneously. So I still generate income under my company. I have a home office. So all throughout my 41 years of working my adult life, 41 plus years of working my adult life, simultaneously with that, 20 years, I was working my company simultaneously, people. So just because you got a W-2 job, that don't mean you got to give up your hopes and dreams of having your own company or business outside of that. Ain't nothing wrong with multiple streams of income. There's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that. Because if my revenue throughout that 25-year journey of having my company simultaneously while I was in the workforce, some months if my revenue went down under my company, big deal. My revenue was a little low on a particular month. It didn't matter because I was still generating income under my primary day W-2 job, people. There's power when you have multiple streams of income. You don't have to give up your hopes and dreams and aspirations just because you deal the W-2 job. No, you just got to be skillful and know how to balance that and manage that and keep your mouth shut on the day job and stop telling all your business. Throughout my working history, when I'm had my company, still got my company simultaneously all throughout the workforce, I was not going to work on my day job. I didn't breathe a word. The folks I worked shoulder to shoulder with for 10, 15, 20 years didn't even know I had my own company outside of my day job making money under my credential. Real talk, people. Real talk. I went to work. I performed the essential functions of my job. I kept people out of my business. I spoke and I was a cordial, but I was moving in silence, people, building my wealth. Real talk. And you gotta have, it's power when you have multiple streams of income. But on the flip side, you still need a day job. You still need a job where you're getting them benefits and you're building your retirement so you can have multiple streams of income when you get ready to retire. Real talk. Even if you work for yourself, I got my home office. Yeah, I work for myself, but I still have to answer the stakeholders. I still have to abide by those code of ethics that governs my credential. I still have a board to answer to. I still have to carry professional liability insurance in the amount of $3 million. So I still have to answer to people. It don't matter if I have my home office. If I want to continue to generate revenue under my company, I have to meet deadlines. I have to schedule clients. I have to provide those professional service at the highest level, function at to hold myself accountable, adhere to the code of ethics that governs my credentials in 3 different states and at the national level and the federal level. Because if I do anything unethical, the board can strip me of my license. So I still have people to answer to. I still have to deliver the goods, people. It don't matter if you work for yourself. Because if you're in business for yourself, in order to make that money, you're going to have to collaborate and consult with stakeholders if you want to stay in business. You're going to have deadlines to meet. You're going to have to deliver the goods. You're going to have customer service. Real talk. It kills me when people say things like, oh, I don't want to work for nobody. Well, even if you're in business for yourself, you are still going to have to answer to somebody. You're going to have to abide by code of ethics that governs whatever business you're doing. You're going to have deadlines to meet. You're going to have customer service if you want to stay in business. Because if not, trust me, that business ain't going to last. That business ain't going to last. It ain't going to last. You're still going to have to get up on time. You're going to have to be about your business. I can't just lay around all day. I see a lot of my clients on Monday and Tuesday. So I have a certain time where I have to provide those services. I still got to follow up, make phone calls. I have meetings with stakeholders. I have to perform, people, even in my home office. Absolutely. And be ready for inspection by a DOT inspector at any given time. Real talk, people. And that's where the emotional maturity come into play when you understand, rather you're a W-2 or working for yourself, you're still going to have accountability and responsibility. Real talk. And I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, because people think if you work for yourself, that's easy. No, it ain't easy, because you're still going to have to be accountable. You're going to have to deliver the goods. You're going to have to abide by a code of ethics if you want to stay in business. Real talk. So I say this to say, if you are 45 years old or younger, you're going to have to be about your business. You're going to have to be about your business. You're going to have to buckle down. You're going to have to build. You're going to begin to build your future for that financial freedom, because it ain't going to happen by itself. I'm telling you, it's not. It's not going to have to happen by itself. I've been working 41 years of my adult life. Many times working 2 and 3 jobs. Real talk, people. 41 plus years of my adult life. But I exited up out of this workforce early, without taking time off other than my holidays and my vacation, without calling out sick. No, I was handling my business. 41 years of my adult life, and I just recently fully retired from the workforce September of 2023 with a spotless record. And throughout that 40-year journey, I kept folks out of my business. My co-workers who worked with me for the state of North Carolina years, working with me shoulder to shoulder for 15, 20 years, had no clue I was retiring to my last day, literally. Because I told HR, don't send no email out on me letting everybody know I'm finna get ready to retire. No, I'm going to exit on up out of here. My own colleagues did not even know I was going to retire until my last day, my last 2 hours of working in this workforce, and I was gone forever. I can remember when I was working on my master's degree, I went back to school to get a second master's. My own supervisor, co-workers had no clue I was in school to get a master's degree. The only reason they found out is when I graduated and I had that master's degree in my hand, and I took a copy of that master's degree to HR, because that set the stage for me to get a promotion. And when HR got their copy of my master's degree, a lot of times HR send emails out when people in the organization have accomplished a milestone, rather they just got married or just graduated with a degree from college, And so they sent out an email, an organizational email. And at that point, that's when my co-workers found out I had a master's degree. And these people were working shoulder to shoulder with me for years. Was wishing I would have said something, because they said, well, I would have came to your graduation. I would have, oh, no. I say that to say, I keep people out of my business, people. I keep folks, when I go to work to perform the essential functions of my job. I'm cordial to everybody, but I do zero self-disclosure about anything that's going on in my life outside of that job. Real talk, it's all about business. It really is, and it keeps mess down. It keeps drama away, because you ain't self-disclosing nothing. Real talk. So again, the focus of this lecture, if you are 45 years old or younger, you really need to be about your business. You need to get you a job, and you need to start building your 401. You need to start building your retirement. Real talk, people, because when I'm telling you, you look up, you in your 20s, you look up, you in your 30s, you look up, you in your 40s, you look up, you in your 60s, and if you have not buckled down along the way, you ain't gonna have no retirement account. You ain't gonna have no pension with a package deal. Yeah, you'll get Social Security, but you're not gonna have those other benefits in terms of pension and retirement. When I get old enough to get Social Security, when that time comes, I have 3 checks hitting me for the rest of my life. My pension from the state of North Carolina, my pension from the military, and then my Social Security pension for the rest of my life, people, to include medical benefits. So again, I'll pass this information along. I've been wanting to revisit this topic for a while now, in regards to if you are 45 years old or younger, you really need to buckle down. So in handling your financial health, buckle down on the job, start building that retirement, so you can get the benefits that go along with that, your medical, your dental, your life insurance, your vacation, PTO, and you can still cultivate and develop and nurture your skills and talents outside of that job to have multiple streams of income. Because most people I know in this world got more than one stream of income. That's nothing new about that. That's been going on since the dawn of time in terms of having multiple streams of income. So that's all I have. Simple fidelity. I'm going to leave you in the care of your own conscience. Have a great day.